Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here, and today you'll be time traveling to some of the greatest moments in human history on a 3-day tour, traveling thousands of years in a time machine to experience great moments from our past. You'll meet legendary people and join remarkable events as you try to see all you can before the clock runs out, and you might even learn a few things along the way. Trekking through history is for 2 to 4 players with a Kickstarter exclusive solo mode. It takes 30 to 60 minutes to play for ages 10 and up and published by Underdog Games. Now it's on Kickstarter right now, so I'm going to show you how the game works and I'll see you on the other side. This is a Kickstarter preview, so all the art and components you see here are not final. Check the Kickstarter link in the description of this video to see all the final art and components. In trekking through history, you're going to be spending 3 days, which are rounds, visiting different historical events. For example, you might go help chisel the Rosetta Stone back in 196 BCE, before Common Era, essentially before Year Zero. Or maybe you go ride the rocket with the father of the railways in 1829, or cheer at the ancient Olympics in 708 BCE. Now to decide where you'll visit and what you'll experience, each player has itineraries. You'll have one at a time. You'll actually get 4 of these at the beginning of the game, and in your first game you'll randomly pick one to start with, but once you know the game, you can pick which one you're going to use for which day. Now these are going to help you track your experiences that you've visited. For example, we have person experiences, event experiences, innovation, and progress. Now, working way down the different tracks of the different experiences is the main way to get points in the game, so let's show you how these work. So let's say I wanted to go visit this. Now, we'll see the different type of experiences you'll get from this. In this case, we'll have a person experience and an innovation experience, but because of the slot that it's in, we'll also gain an event experience. And those experiences correspond with your itineraries. So I've placed these nice tokens for one of each of the experiences that we've gotten. These 2 from this card, and this one was from the slot on the board. Now, how do we try to score different things? Well, we can notice that this 7 point here is linked to these 3. So if I'm able to get one more experience of each of these type and fill this up, well, I'll then get 7 points immediately. But let's say this one over here, this is progress. If I get 2 of just progress, when I cover this one up, I'll get 3 points. So lots of different strategies and things to work with. Now, we spent some time visiting there and experiencing that, 2 hours. And so we'll move our clock 2 hours forward. And this is going to determine turn order because it shows us how long we've spent. And now the next player furthest back is going to be able to go. So maybe after the next 3 players go, it looks like this. We look the furthest back, this player will go, let's say they move 2, then it's us. So whoever's furthest back gets to move. So the more powerful events that you get to visit and the things that give you more different experiences, you'll move further. And so you might want to take something different depending on where you'll be in turn order. Now, as players take cards, it will open up a slot. Everything to the left will slide down and a new one will come out like this. So let's say it looked like this and it was our turn again. And let's say we wanted to plan escape routes with Harriet Tubman in 1850. Now, this gave us a person experience and it gave us a progress experience, but the spot from the board that we took it from also gave us progress. So we were able to do this, which now gets us 3 points. And the points are tracked right here. Now let me point out a few more things. Here is a wild type of experience you can use as anything, and these are crystals, and those are also sometimes found on certain cards as well. Now players will start with 1 crystal, but you can gain more, but you can spend them to affect how much time it actually costs. So let's say we want to spend this, and instead of moving 3 times, we would now move 2 because we spent 1, but you can spend as many as you want on a single turn. So instead of it costing us 3 times, it would just cost us 2, which means we're going to go again before this player. These players are going to go next, but then we'll at least be able to go before this player. Maybe because we know that there's a card on the board that we know that they want, but we want it as well. We want to be able to go in front of them. Now you can use as many of those on 1 turn, but you can't make anything cost less than 1 hour. Now not only are we trying to look at what we want depending on the most efficient way to gain points, the other main way to get points is at the end of the game is from what's called your treks, because what we've done so far is we did this in 1829 and this in 1850, and that's considered a trek. Anytime you go and visit an experience and you place it here, hopefully it is going to be in order, chronological order like it is here. We're trying to build up as many of these as possible. Because at the end of the game, for however long this trek is, right now, if this ended now, this would be worth 0 points. If we only had one card in there, it'd be worth -3. But as you can see, the more and more cards you place in your experiences in order chronologically, the more points you'll get for that trek at the end of the game. Because, for example, let's say the next card we pull is this. Well, this one is before this. It's not in chronological order. So instead of actually adding it to this one, what we'd do is we would collapse this trek, put it face down off to the side. By the way, this game has a lot of great thematic text about what happened in this specific event. If you like history, you can learn a lot while playing this game. So we'd collapse this, knowing this tells us this is going to be a trek of value of 2 cards. We'll place it off to the side for now. That will matter at the end of the game. But now we will place this as our first trek. And so you're constantly trying to figure out, oh, what do I need now? What's going to get me points? But how is it going to affect my trek? Because maybe this wasn't the greatest card to get. Maybe this one didn't get us what we needed. And if we were going to collapse our trek anyway, maybe we wanted something way back in time that was going to get us to 342. But bringing us back to our previous trek, there is another option. Instead of visiting one of these experiences, you can visit your ancestors, and there's only a certain amount of these depending on the amount of players. Now when you place this ancestor, it's thought of as being the same time as before, so it's still going in order. So instead of collapsing this trek, we now have a 3rd card in that trek. We can continue to possibly build on this, maybe buying us some time to see if another card that will come out that's higher than that, or maybe doing another one of these later. Now it's kind of a trade-off because yes, you're expanding your trek instead of collapsing it, which possibly be more points at the end of the game, but they do cost 3 time and they give you 1 sort of a wild experience, which may or may not be the best thing. So there's a lot of decision space here, even though the mechanisms are quite streamlined. So maybe we did this, we covered this, maybe we decided to cover it with person because we wanted to gain a crystal and place it here because we want to be able to save some time on a future turn. Now the first day will continue until, let's say if we are going to go past 12, it just stops here and that's the end of our day. But if we time it perfectly with a 2-hour card, we get punctuality bonus of 3 points if we can make that fit perfectly. And once all players have finished that day, the day will end. Now when the day ends, we're going to remove all the tokens and get rid of this itinerary, and then we will select another one from the other ones that we still have, giving us a new strategy, also because the cards are going to change as well, but your trek will keep going. Now all the day 1 cards will be discarded and we'll bring out a day 2 deck, and again, all new artwork, all new cards, and you'll continue the rounds in the same way. And after that day's over, we have a deck for day 3, and you'll do the same thing, put out the new cards, and play the same way. And at the end of the 3rd day, you're going to look at all your treks that were collapsed, look at the amount of cards, give yourself as many points as described earlier. You'll also get a point for each of the crystals you hadn't used, and whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. Well, there you have trekking through history. And as I showed in the overview, you'll be time traveling with streamlined mechanisms, but with lots of depth. Now, if you'd like to see the final art and components and all the different pledge levels available, you can click the link below me right in the description of this video. Now, that's going to take you right to the Kickstarter project page, and I'm sure that Underdog Games would love your support.